Hi guys. I don't think I've filmed a video in this room in like a long time, at least not since it went from being my boyfriend's room to the baby girl's nursery. Still not 100% complete, as you can probably tell. You're gonna have to excuse my horrible gravelly voice and congestion. I've come down with a really bad cold and a chesty cough, which is just attacking my immune system. I think my daughter got something at the playground, which she passed on to me. And I've taken 2 COVID tests, both of which have come back negative. So my last video was discussing that I had made the decision to go ahead and get an ECV so I could attempt a VBAC. And I was fairly confident in that decision. I thought it was something that I was willing to do, but after doing a lot of research, talking on a lot of pregnancy groups and forums, and speaking to a couple nurses and doctors, I have decided not to do it. I will explain my reasons for deciding not to do it. And I understand that in general this is a safe procedure. A lot of people have this procedure done and it's totally successful, so I don't want to discourage anyone from choosing this, because if you're able to get that baby turned successfully and have a natural birth, that's obviously a lot better for your body than going through major surgery. But I personally decided to not take the risk, even though it's very small. And so that's what I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to be doing a 36-week pregnancy update. So as far as the ECV is concerned, there is a 5% risk that during the ECV procedure, where they turn the baby head down, that they will become brachycardiac and experience heart rate decelerations. And 4% of the time, this stops and the baby goes back to normal. And 1% of the time, it ends in an emergency C-section. Sometimes, in that 1%, a woman experiences placental abruption or cord prolapse, or the cord will go around the baby's head, or simply the baby is just very distressed and needs to come out. And if placental abruption or that sort of thing occurs, it can be life-threatening for the mother and the baby, because it causes extreme bleeding. And although the risk is so low, I just don't feel comfortable with taking it. And the most traumatic thing about my cesarean was just how unprepared for it I was with my daughter. And I don't want to have to rush getting my anesthesia and feel even more anxious because it's an emergency surgery and not planned. Therefore, I've decided to just go ahead with a scheduled cesarean, because I don't want to risk something crazy happening. Secondly, I spoke to a lot of women on a group I'm on Facebook. It's called VBAC after cesarean, or VBAC and repeat cesarean. It's for women that have been hoping for a natural birth after C-section. And I asked people their ECV experiences, and the majority of people did not have any success. The baby didn't turn, and they were in excruciating pain from the procedure. And a lot of people actually told me that they personally found that the procedure of having the baby manually turned was more painful than their cesarean recovery, and left them completely bruised, and that they would not do it again even though it was successful. So I don't know, therefore I've just sort of decided not to do it. I do have a fairly high pain tolerance, but honestly even just having ultrasounds at this point hurts. When the sonographer pushes the little probe on my baby's head, it really hurts my tummy, and to think that to have an ACV, 2 doctors have to dig their hands way deeper into my belly, I just can't stand the thought. And I understand C-section recovery is absolutely excruciating, but I've experienced it, I know what I'm in for, and at least like for the actual surgery, you don't feel it. And I just don't want to take any risks with my baby, so therefore I have decided to do a repeat C-section in the end. So I just wanted to come on and say that after my last video, because I was just having some ambivalence. I'm sorry, this is just like, I'm a disgusting mess. I'm really sick right now. Anyway, as far as my 36-week pregnancy update is concerned, I'm going to go over some symptoms and kind of what I'm experiencing. Again, not a whole lot has changed since the last video. It's just more of a sense of feeling like labor is close. You know, all the things that I've been talking about, like the acid reflux, the pressure, it's just all there. It's just a lot worse now. I'd say since being 36 weeks, something that I've really been struggling with is walking. And I'm not trying to be like lazy. It's just genuinely very uncomfortable now to walk. Just doing half a mile or a really short walk is now very difficult, and I'm waddling a lot because there is so much pressure from having a breech baby and her butt just engaged in my pelvis. It really hurts, and she's very often pressing on nerves, and I'll get shooting pains through my leg and back, and just like kind of buckle over when I'm walking. So that's something I've been experiencing this week, and I've just felt a lot of pressure on my cervix, a lot of sensations, like honestly it just feels sometimes like my cervix are about to break. It's just like so painful. I'm getting quite a lot of like rib pain and upper stomach pain. Another thing that I've noticed this week is I went from an extreme appetite to complete appetite loss. Just in a week. I think it's because she's just so big now, her head is just up in my stomach, and even just drinking after a few mouthfuls of anything, I just feel full and uncomfortable. But I guess that's to be expected. So there's that. My feet have also got puffier, my face has got puffier. All of that normal stuff. I've been leaking more breast milk, or colostrum, as you would say. And what else? Is there anything else? I don't know. I really don't think there's anything crazy that stands out. I have noticed I've been getting quite a lot of back pains and backache this past week, which I think is, you know, also to be expected. And just overall discomfort. No position is comfortable now. At first I just couldn't really lay on my front or my back, but now just laying on my sides is uncomfortable because my belly is like so big now. It just hurts to be in any position. And I get pretty dizzy now standing up or sitting up. Basically everything just sucks at this point. Oh, and one of the most major symptoms I've had, and I didn't really know whether to discuss it or not, is because I don't want to normalize it and have someone assume if this happens in your pregnancy that it's okay or normal. So if you experience this, certainly do talk to your doctor about it and get checked out. I've noticed that I've had decreased fetal movement, and Her movements used to be very noticeable, kind of sitting up and moving around, very rapid, very painful movements, like legs and arms swinging around. And I think a lot of people try to argue with this and say that the baby does not run out of room at the end and that they should still move just as much. But from my experience and talking to a lot of friends, babies honestly do kind of run out of room. And the movements, they can't keep doing like big things like this. It's sort of like little movements. So I've definitely noticed that I've had to put a lot more focus into her movements. If I don't put focus into it, I could go most of the day and not really feel anything. And then I'll, lay down and, decide that I should start doing some kick counts and just make sure everything's all good. That's something we do in America here. And so I found myself having to every day sort of like lay down a couple times a day and just sort of wait for like 30 minutes to an hour to make sure I'm getting, at least like 5 to 10 movements, which I have done. It just takes like a lot of focus. And again, the movement is not very violent. I don't see it on the outside of my belly anymore. It's mostly just like little fingers and little toes. So that is something I've experienced, and it has brought a little bit of anxiety because obviously at the end of pregnancy you worry about stillbirth. So when you have those reduced movements, it's like, is this normal? Obviously for a lot of people it's not normal. I would still always get checked and mention it to a doctor if it's something you're experiencing, because decreased movement can be a sign of a problem. But in my case, I've been having scans every single week where they watch for movement, and she's been marking everything she should and hitting all the milestones. So I'm really sorry for the sniffling, it's awful. So I haven't got myself too worked up about it, but yeah, I would just say like that is a symptom I've had, and you might experience it. You might experience it too. I would normally like cover my mouth when I cough, so don't think I'm disgusting. It's just because I'm home alone right now. Anyway, so those are the symptoms that I've been having. Oh, I've also noticed, and I don't know whether it's part of the cold I have or not, but the past like 3 days I've been having increased nausea, and for like a week now I've had sort of like a little bit of an upset stomach on and off. And by that I mean just sort of like going to the bathroom more regularly, and just my bowel movements are not like as happy as they were, we could say. And I know that could happen before birth because of hormonal changes. I've had increased discharge, so like increased vaginal fluid, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think I could go anytime now. I'm 36 weeks and 1 day today, and I had my daughter at 36 weeks and 4 days. So I don't know if this is my last update. I'm ready to have a baby anytime. But part of me is like, I sort of want her to come out anytime after 37 weeks. And then another part of me is like, well, I kind of hope she stays in for the scheduled C-section so it's a calmer experience. And, I have a lot of anxiety about this upcoming surgery, but I think I'm going to make a video, that's if I don't go into spontaneous labor before, just discussing my anxiety and like how I feel preparing for such major surgery again, my fears, because these are all very normal things that should be discussed. We shouldn't have to put on a brave face and be like, I'm having a C-section and I'm like so organized and happy about it. Like, you should be able to be like honest about being scared, because it's fucking scary. And even if you've had 1 or 2 or 3 C-sections, it doesn't stop it from still being scary. Because the more surgeries you have, the more complications, and you go in for every surgery like, well, is there going to be a ton of scar tissue to cut through? Could I bleed excessively as a result? There's all these questions, and it's scary. Anyway, I have another OB appointment on Tuesday. I still don't have the date for my C-section, so when I get that, I will let you guys know. I know I still have not filmed my hospital bags. They are finished now. And I'm either going to film that video today or like this week. And obviously if I like suddenly give birth, then I will film after the birth, but I was really hoping I'd have a bit of a smoother voice and wouldn't sound so disgusting when I filmed that video, but I'm kind of running out of time, so I will probably film that video later on this afternoon, but split it into like 2 parts, like the baby's bag and then my bag. Anyway, I hope that you all are doing well and staying healthy. Don't forget to take your vitamins, and I hope you guys are feeling sick like I am right now. And I'll show you the bump before I end this video. This is my 36-week bump. Still pretty small. Anyway, see you guys soon.